In this tutorial, you will learn how to create and edit protocols. You will also learn how to create methods to describe how protocols relate to each other to achieve a major task. For example, the method we will create describes which protocols and in which order the protocols can be performed to produce a sequence from plasma samples. To begin, select the Workflow tab. We will create a new RNA extraction protocol. Since this protocol type already exists in the database, we can choose it from the list. If this was the first protocol of this type in the database, we could create a new protocol type by clicking on the New Protocol Type button. The RNA extraction protocol type specifies that the input and output sample types, in this case, plasma and RNA. In our protocol, we take 150 microliters of plasma and produce 50 microliters of RNA. It is very important to specify the volumes of samples and reagents in the protocol correctly, as these are used when performing tasks. To enter a volume, double-click on the plasma element. Enter 150 microliters. It is also a good idea to enter the error. In this case, we have an error of plus or minus 10 microliters. The next step in our protocol requires us to add 500 microliters of lysis buffer. Select this reagent from the list on the left and drag it into the designer. If the reagent name is missing, you can create it by clicking on the Reagent Types button in the Reagents form on the Materials tab. Connect the plasma and lysis buffer together by clicking on the connector circle on the plasma element and dragging the arrow to the lysis buffer element. Next, we will vortex the plasma lysis buffer mixture for 10 seconds. Drag vortex from the list onto the designer and double-click on it to edit its time value. If the action you want is not on the list, you can create a new action by clicking on the Actions button in the ribbon control. Connect the lysis buffer to the vortex action. Next, we will incubate the mixture for 10 minutes at 20 degrees Celsius. We continue in this fashion until we have finished defining the protocol. Before saving the protocol, specify a version number and then click Save. To view or edit this protocol in the future, click on the Open button and select it. To edit, click the Edit button. Note: when editing a protocol, it is a good idea to save it with a new version. Protocols can be exported to another installation of eLab by clicking on the Export button, saving it to an XML file and importing the file from the other installation of eLab. Next, we will create a method to describe how to take a plasma sample and produce a HCV sequence. Click on the Methods button and click New. Enter the name for the method. If this is a new version for an existing method, you can choose it from the drop-down list. Drag the protocols into the designer and join them together in the order that is required. To define what action should be taken if a protocol fails for a sample or a group of samples, create a connection in the opposite direction. This connection will appear in red. In this method, if a PCR fails for a sample, we will have the option to send it back to the RNA extraction protocol. Likewise, if a sequence does not amplify, we can send it back to another protocol. To view or edit the method in the future, click on the Open button and select it. To edit, click on the Edit button Again, it is a good idea to change the version number if you are modifying an existing method. Once a method has been created, you can create a project that uses these rules to take a batch of samples from plasma to a sequenced product. Click on the Projects tab and then click New. Specify the name of the project and select the method. In this case, we will use the method we just created, HCV sequencing. Select which individuals or groups have permission to perform each of the protocols in the method. Add the project to the database. You have now created a project that will enforce the rules you defined in the method and protocols we created. See the sample management tutorial to learn how to add samples to this project. This is the end of this tutorial.